from the Scotiabank Saddledome. Maple Leafs looking for their first win here in Calgary since 2002. Let's go down to ice level. Ray Ferraro's with the super rookie, Sean Monahan.
Sean, for so much of the first part of the season, there was article after article, 9 games, what's going to happen to you. Now that you're past that, can you settle in a little bit? Does it feel like a regular season for you?
It feels like a regular season. It's just, you can't be too comfortable in this league. I mean, you gotta work hard every day and earn everything.
7 out of 8 points at home for Calgary this year. Why are you guys so good here?
I think we feel like it's at home. Obviously, it is home, and we got great fans here, and I think that's a big help in this league.
All the best, Sean. Thanks.
Thank you.
Of course, young Sean Monahan playing alongside Yuri Hudler, who has points in all but 1 game so far. Flames bouncing back from a tough road trip with a 5-2 win on Saturday night at home against Washington. The Maple Leafs coming off a 4-0 victory last night in Edmonton as they start the Western Canadian swing. And there's the hottest scorer in the NHL. Phil Kessel with 7 goals in his last 4 games. Leafs have won 3 of 4. And he'll be again on a line with Nazem Kadri tonight. So it's Kari Ramo up against Jonathan Bernier as the 2 teams get set to play. But first, the national anthem with Heather Lascano.
Visit ScotiabankSkaters.com. Now please rise, remove your hats, and join the longtime singing voice of your Calgary Flames, Heather Lascano, accompanied by the Flames organist Willie Jewson and members of the Calgary EMS and Calgary Police Service in the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Surprise scratch for the Flames tonight. Michael Backlund is out. Tim Jackman is in. And between the benches, Ray Ferraro. Your eyes on Mike Camilleri tonight as he has returned to the Flames lineup and give them an offensive boost.
Yeah, their best pure goal scorer. Camilleri, of course, can really shoot the puck. He scored a couple of goals against Washington on Saturday. He'll probably face a pretty steady diet of Dion Phaneuf tonight. Phaneuf just played 19 minutes last night in Edmonton as the Leafs were able to stretch out a 4-0 lead, and they were able to coast home, albeit running around in their end and a little bit in the third period. Backed by the terrific goaltending of James Reimer, but Phaneuf with a +10 rating on the season. I don't put a 100% mark in all of that stat, but when somebody is that good, you have to take note.
5th game against his former team. David Boland starts at center. David Clarkson jostling with Camilleri right off the opening face-off, and it goes to Phaneuf paired with Carl Gunnarsson up ahead, and it's deflected off Mason Raymond, a local product who was hoping to sign with the Flames. He was interested in signing. The Flames were not interested in signing him, and Raymond's been a great addition to the Leaf lineup. An icing call against Calgary 20 seconds in.
Right on the icing, off goes the Bolin line. Out comes Kadri, Van Riemsdyk, and Kessel. What a great night they had last night in Edmonton. And if Nazem Kadri can hold this number one center spot, if he can be effective against other number one centers, it gives the Leafs tremendous depth down the middle of the ice once Tyler Bozak returns. Kadri is built skill-wise to be a number one center. It's not his play with the puck, it'll be his play without the puck that'll determine whether he holds this spot.
Beat Joe Colburn on that offensive zone face-off. Kadri up with it. This line had 8 points in the win last night. Now Gagliardi hands it off, and here's Colburn to the attack. The former Leaf swings wide, and a quick shot on Bernier. Dangerous rush for Colburn, and now it'll be flipped by Van Riemsdyk inside the Calgary line. Camilleri banks it. Flames are changing, and out onto the ice comes David Jones to the attack. He'll drop it off. Butler shot, and Bernier stops that. Pretty good pace to start.
After a tremendous performance the last 2 nights out for James Reimer, where he's stopped 78 of 79 shots, including the shutout last night in Edmonton, they go to Jonathan Bernier. Bernier's first stop of any note is against Butler, and he makes the stop, and what he's really been good at so far most of the year is his rebound control. There he swallows it up.
Former Leaf Matt Stajan won the draw. Weidman got the shot on a rebound, and there's Curtis Glencross who bumped the slump. Chris Russell fires. Traffic in front of the net. Ranger down, and the puck goes wide. Flames pushing the pace here. Russell flipping it into the corner. There's Glencross centering it. Jones a whack. Good pad stop, and somehow that stays out as Bernier makes the right pad save with David Jones on the doorstep.
Well, it's not been a gentle start to the game for Jonathan Bernier. Lots of traffic in front of him. David Jones right on the goal crease for a couple of whacks at it. Bernier's able to keep his right pad locked against the goalpost. You see Jones with a 3 spot of attempts at it. He misses the third one, and then the puck gently slides back to Bernier.
So Jonathan Bernier's into the game. He's faced 6 shots in the opening minute 18. Right back out comes Colburn.
Really just 3 centermen dressed for the Leafs as they're with Backlund scratched, as you mentioned.
And Colburn centering Tim Jackman and Brian McGrattan, and this didn't take long. Off come the gloves. Ray, you said the over-under was 6 minutes.
I didn't think they'd get to the first commercial break, and here goes the 2 big boys.
Fraser McLaren, Brian McGrattan. Well, we expected truculence. McGrattan with now 55 penalty minutes in his career against the Leafs, at least most of any team he has played, and the Hamilton native goes off with Fraser McLaren after a dust-up less than 2 minutes in.
Well, McLaren back in the lineup for the Maple Leafs after missing most of the early portion of the season with a fractured hand. His 4th game back, and right off the draw, the 2 big boys drop the mitts and size each other up. And as soon as the sweater goes over McLaren's head, you see the linesmen jump in to separate the 2 of them. They went to the box, and McLaren kind of held his hand out in acknowledgement of the fight, and I don't know how you do that. You spend the previous 90 seconds punching each other in the face, and they seem to have their own way about going about their business.
Well, McLaren just back into the lineup recently. Derek England on Saturday night in his 2nd bout with another one of the league heavyweights, Brian McGrattan. Flames continue to play in the Leaf zone here. Puck's loose in front of the net, jabbed away, and it will come back to the point. Flipped in by Shane O'Brien. In behind the net, Cody Franson battles for it, moves it ahead, and now onto the right side. Colton Hoare is out there, and Hoare to Mason Raymond, who flips it down the ice, and Gary Ramo a little trouble with that. Tonight's game plan brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
Curtis Glencross scored the other night, his first goal in 7 games for the Flames. They want to jump early, which they have against a Leaf team that played last night in Edmonton. The Flames played very well early in the first period against Washington on Saturday, and for the Leafs, it's get your legs moving, keep the game simple, move the puck straight ahead, play a north-south game, and really for the first couple of minutes here, this has been exactly the start that the Calgary Flames have looked for.
Bob Hartley has doubled up Joe Colborne in the early going, trying to get the former Leaf right into the middle of the action. Once again centering Mike Camilleri. Here's Russell sending it ahead. Gagliardi swings it to the far side. Camilleri unable to catch up with that. Gunnarsson back, and Camilleri causes the turnover. Here's Colborne in front, couldn't get the shot away. Calgary product gets it to Gagliardi, who is also from this area, and a giveaway, and Joffrey Lupul will start back. Played in his hometown last night, and here is Lupul into the corner. Actually in the Edmonton area, Fort Saskatchewan product. Lupul sends it back. Gardner's shot off the leg. And the Flames will move forward. On the backhand, Dennis Wideman, who plays about half the game for Calgary. Number 2 in time on ice so far. Behind only Ryan Suter. Here's Kessel dashing in. Throws it across. It'll come back to the line, and Rangers shot ricochets up over the glass. And out of play 3 minutes in.
Now look at a couple different Leaf defensemen in their play behind the net. Watch Cody Franzen use his body here to shield Berchi from the puck. A nice little out to Trevor Smith, and the Leafs are out of the zone. Here Gunnarsson gets the puck into his feet. He doesn't get his stick on it first, and an aggressive forecheck by Camilleri turns the puck over in a decent scoring chance.
Another face-off won by Kadri in the Calgary zone. David Jones able to deflect it out. Glenn Cross to Stajan. That pass broken up by Kessel. Here's Butler with a giveaway. Bad guy to give it to. Kessel in front of the net, and a centering pass out of the reach of Van Riemsdyk from Kadri. At center, knocked down by Glenn Cross. Stajan follows up, and it's offside.
A bad turnover for the Flames. 15 feet inside their blue line, and it's to the wrong guy. It's to Phil Kessel. Kessel to Kadri, and Kadri wants to get this across where Van Riemsdyk can one-time it into the net, but the puck is off his left foot, or his right foot rather, not his left, so Van Riemsdyk can't get a stick on it.
Jay McClement, Joffrey Lupul, and Carter Ashton are on the ice for Toronto. Sven Berchi, there's the youngster Monahan, and Yuri Hudler for Calgary. Monahan over the line. Brampton product gets the shot on, and Bernier juggles and holds it. Well, you talked to him, Ray, just prior to the national anthem tonight. A number 6 pick overall who has exceeded, I think, everybody's early expectations.
What a tremendous start to his National Hockey League career. What's really going to be interesting to watch here for the next 7 weeks or so till they get to the Christmas break is what the grind of the season does to a youngster like Monahan. If the Flames start to get stuck in the mud a little bit, does he get discouraged? Does he get worn down physically? The Christmas break is really an important break because you get a couple of days to kind of refresh, recharge a little bit. He'll get to see his family for the first time in a while, and for a young guy, it's real important. I'll be interested to see how the next little bit goes for him.
Love the story that Jay Feaster called him in after his 9th game and said, "What would you do with Sean Monahan?" And Monahan told the GM, "I'd keep him."
He doesn't lack for confidence, but what he has is, you see Jay Feaster and their management group upstairs, is he has a real maturity and a real calmness about him. When you get a chance to talk to him, he doesn't seem too fazed by where he is. He knows it's hard work. He knows that it's going to be, a grinded out type of year for him, and he seems up for the challenge.
Berchi Monahan, and that shot from close range off Bernier. Nice setup there by Berchi. Berchi battling forward again along the boards. The shots are 8-1 here in this opening 5 minutes. Leafs having trouble getting started after the win last night in Edmonton. Now it's played by Morgan Riley, and Ashton able to deflect it down the ice, and Toronto will make a change. Chris Russell back.
Sorry, Chris, that was an important clear for Carter Ashton as the Leafs were stuck out on an icing call. They were now hemmed in their zone and they needed to get off the ice.
There's Russell dispatching it into Toronto ice. He'll head to the bench on a change. Boland in the corner. Gagliardi hounds him. Phaneuf out battles Colborne. And now it's Gunnarsson trying to get loose and Colborne leans on him. Joe Colborne with the forecheck and the turnover will come back to the point. Clarkson denies the shot from the point. It's Camilleri to Gagliardi. Gunnarsson all over Mike Camilleri. 3 goals in his last 2 games. Trying to shake the check of Boland. Gagliardi back. Brody shot. Deflects in front. Doesn't get through. And Phaneuf off the boards and Boland will just dump it out to center. Leafs on their heels. Calgary to the attack, but still no score. Captain Phaneuf. Bumped there by former Leaf station. Glenn Cross tried to center. Unable to get it in front, and it's sent down the ice. And here comes Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk cutting in, and Ramo with the poke check. And the first penalty of the game is a slashing call against Calgary.
When this puck comes around the boards to Kessel, the Flames defense doesn't want to back off because Kessel's standing still. However, he gives it to an on-charging Van Riemsdyk who's in full flight. So Van Riemsdyk gets outside of Russell. It's the slash at the end by Dennis Wideman that is the result of that Van Riemsdyk rush. And the Leafs, who have been a little groggy here in the first 6 minutes, get the game's first power play. A power play that's been terrific. 12 power play goals on the season, ranked 2nd in the league.
Been more than a few periods this year for the Leafs where they've been sluggish and a power play has got them going. Toronto with the 2nd ranked power play in the league at 26.1%. Only St. Louis has been better.
This slow start first period for the Leafs has caught them a few times over the past few weeks. They've been bailed out a lot of nights by their goaltending, and Bernier's 8 stops early has given them a chance to get their feet underneath them.
Joe Colborne out in a penalty killing role for Bob Hartley to come back to Dion Phaneuf. Takes a look. Now a cross ice pass. Franson in, and that through the skates of Van Riemsdyk, and the Flames clear. Cody Franson leads the Leafs in power play points with 7 assists. Here comes Phaneuf. Hears it from the crowd. Ex-Flames pass doesn't work, and the Flames will turn Toronto back. Bernier out to play it. Errant pass didn't connect with Kessel, and now Kessel will reboot back in the Toronto zone. Dancing through center. Left wing pass. Raymond had trouble with it, and it'll be cleared back down the ice by Russell.
A couple of mishandles for the Leafs on the entries has allowed the Flames to knock a minute of this power play off.
Here's Morgan Riley to work. Over the line, Kadri swings wide. Butler stays with him. Colborne along the boards. Battling against Mason Raymond. A couple of former Camrose Kodiaks there. It'll be kept in by Riley. He'll play it back, and a shot fanned on by Mason Raymond. Jake Gardiner. Kadri. Down low, Raymond in behind the net. Kadri up top. Gardiner returns it to the Leaf center, who was +4 last night. Kadri down low in front. Raymond tried the stuff play and shot it wide. Slides along the boards. Kadri returns it to Raymond. Now sent back to Riley. Gardiner, no shot. Kadri in for Raymond at the side of the net again. Back to Gardiner. Here's the shot. He whistled it wide. Hot rebound in front. Lupul had it stay out. Now it's in. Joffrey Lupul.
About 20 seconds before the goal, Chris, Randy Carlyle was screaming from the Leaf bench, who's in front, who's in front? The Leafs had set up, and Lupul was on the left post, and Raymond was on the right post. Nobody was in front of the net. Finally, they get to the front of the net, and when Gardiner fires his howitzer about 4 feet over the net, the first shot by Lupul is stopped by Butler, and it comes right back to Lupul. He puts it away. Lupul's 7th of the year is on the power play. Great stop there by Butler, but he stays on the puck. He grabs the rebound and he puts it through Butler's legs to give the Leafs a 1-0 lead on the power play, a 13th power play goal of the season for the Maple Leafs.
So again, Lupul with his 7th. Gardner will get an assist on the opening goal of the game. 8th time this year the Leafs in 14 games have scored first. Here's Derek Smith up ahead off Hudler. Berchi unable to reach it. Now Hudler will follow up. It'll be Berchi firing it high. And back the other way comes David Clarkson looking for Raymond, who had slid through on the defense. Clarkson in after it behind the net. He'll leave it for Raymond. Trying to get it to Bolin, cut off by Derek Smith. And now the Flames take charge. All Calgary early, and yet the Leafs, and Ray, not a power play goal as the penalized player Weidman had just returned. So
he gets a tough minus.
After being +5 on Saturday night.
Both he and his partner Chris Russell, what a night, +5 against the Capitals.
Here's Gagliardi and an odd man rush. It's Colburn over the line with Brody in front, and he deflected it just wide. Boy, Joe Colburn is logging a lot of minutes here for Bob Hartley early against his old team and nearly set up the tying goal. Shane O'Brien sends it across. TJ Brody hounded by Ashton. And now it's McClement up with the puck, and he'll take over. Colton Orr to the red line, and he'll fire it in. Fans were looking for a penalty on the Leafs. Approaching the midway mark of this opening period. Good first period in Calgary. Off the glass and the glove of Stajan. Kadri unable to get loose. Van Riemsdyk will flip it in and go after it. Glenn Cross had the stick knocked out of his hand, and here's Stajan feeding it right wing. Rink wide for Glenn Cross. It's behind him. Stajan followed up. That's off Gardner. And Kadri looked for Kessel. And turning back with it is Stajan. A pass that doesn't reach Jones. He'll chase it down. Come up with it. Center. Glenn Cross a shot. And Bernier got a piece of that. What a chance for Curtis Glencross. Now in behind the net, it's Nazem Kadri defensively, can't clear. Russell stepped up, sends it deep. Glencross along the end boards, lost his footing. And Gardner's away. Jake Gardner with Leafs changing, fires it around. Weidman on that far side, deflecting it out off the stick of Hudler to center. Russell back in his own zone, over 27 minutes against Washington. What a pickup Chris Russell's been for a 5th round draft choice, and he has been playing heavy minutes, over 27 minutes against Washington, and like Weidman was a +5 the other night, playing much of the game head-to-head against Alexander Ovechkin.
Sometimes you get to be the right player at the right time in the right place, and he's been waiting for this opportunity in the early part of his career, and he comes to Calgary, and there's an opening for him to play, and he's been very good early.
Now Boland at center, unable to control it, then the Flames will reclaim it, deflected off Berchi and deep, and that will cue a Calgary change. Flames off to a great start, then a tough 5-game road swing that saw them win just once. But a big rebound game on Saturday night against Washington. McClement driving to the net, and Ramo will stop that. And we will step out. Plenty of chances for Calgary early, but Joffrey Lupul has the lone goal, his 7th of the year.
Even though they're up 1-0, the Leafs are going to want to be sharper than this. Carter Ashton makes a pinch in the middle of the ice. He's got a read behind him, and he's got no support. This goes to a 2-on-1 that's just chipped wide of the net. And then Paul Ranger goes back here, and he just gets shoved off the puck rather easily by David Jones. Really good save by Jonathan Bernier on the Curtis Glencross bid, but a little sloppy early on for the Leafs as they've been outshot 9-4.
Face-off rolls down into the Leaf zone. Ranger back to get it. Gardner on the right wing to the goal scorer, Lupul. Paul Ranger in the middle, and it's McClement chipping and chasing. There's Weidman along the boards. Pinned by McClement. Lupul in the battle, digs it out. Flips back to Gardner. Walked the line, can't get the shot through against Hudler. And there's Berchi just flicking it out to center ice. Back in Lupul, looking for Ashton. Looking for his first NHL goal.
Parents are in the building tonight. Brent, of course, a long-time NHLer. They were in Edmonton. Get a chance to watch their boy play a couple times up close.
Weidman slowly out. Pass for Gagliardi on the right side. And that will be an icing call. The NHL on TSN Stanley is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Almost thought we were in the Stanley Cup playoffs there, Ray.
That was last year, 48 games, a little quicker.
Here's Phaneuf off the face-off and a shot right on.
Real nice play off the draw by Mason Raymond as he finds Phaneuf for the chance. Ramo with the stop.
Dion Phaneuf looking for his first ever goal against his old team. Fourth game for David Clarkson after the suspension, looking for his role on his new team.
It would be tough enough to come back after a suspension of that length if you were familiar with everything. So he hasn't played very much for the Leafs. He hasn't played very much in Randy Carlyle's system, and you see him asking questions on the bench to try and figure out where he's supposed to be. And as long as you're in that stage, it's really difficult to be effective because you're thinking where you're supposed to be on the ice all the time instead of just reacting to it.
Brody jumping up with the rush again, and that shot deflecting and hitting the goalpost. The shot from Glencross looked like it grazed the stick of Brody and off the pipe. TJ Brody's been jumping in this first period.
Glencross, who had scored his first goal in 7 games against Washington, can really load up the puck, but he felt that he wasn't capitalizing very much on the few chances he got there. He gets some help from TJ Brody. And prior to that Washington game, Glencross went back to his old sticks. He had a new batch of sticks, and a little bit different than the ones he used last year. He went to the old sticks. He got a new pair of gloves, and lo and behold, if you think you're different, maybe sometimes you are. And Glencross broke the egg against the Capitals.
Heard that story and immediately thought of you, Ray. Were you that kind of guy? First of all, Bolin, but a penalty at center ice as Camilleri was upended. And it will be David Clarkson to the penalty box.
Now right in the middle of the ice, because there is an advantage gained here, this becomes a pretty easy call to make as Camilleri falls down and Clarkson gets called for the hook. So while the Leafs didn't score on the power play, it was essentially one as Weidman had just crept out of the penalty box, and Calgary's power play jumps to their first chance.
Flames are 8 for 42 on the power play, and a quick clear by Gunnarsson. So the Flames look for the equalizer, and it's Chris Russell at the controls. Over the line, Russell works his way in. Weidman across. There's Hudler, sizes it up. Weidman shot off target. It'll be Russell sending it to the near corner. Hudler there. Van Riemsdyk and McClement. First penalty kill for Toronto. Russell in front, and it's deflected just off the stick of Monahan. Rolling wide. Weidman. Russell one time. Hot shot. Bernier got it. And no rebound.
Really active play by Chris Russell as he breaks into the zone to set it up. Once they get set up, he fires this shot pass off Sean Monahan's stick just wide of the net, and then when Weidman finds Russell on the regroup play, really good read by Jonathan Bernier as Bernier is across to make the stop and again holds on to it so there's no rebound.
Bolin to face off win. The Leafs clear. They're tied for fourth on the kill. Calgary 17th ranked power play in the NHL. Here's Colborne working in against Franson, tried to center it, and Ranger cut him off. Chance for Franson to clear, and that went off the official, and he's been shaken up.
Now that hit Paul Dvorsky in the
right in the back of the head, and
he looks like he's cut, and he's he's cut on the ear. Yikes! That, not that getting hit in the face anywhere with a puck doesn't hurt, but that is a particularly painful spot. As you see Cody Franson just shooting the puck down the ice, and he hits Dvorsky, and so Dvorsky will need some repairs. He's at the Flames bench. He hasn't left the ice yet. Oh, that one's going to need a few zippers.
Yep.
And so now we'll go to one official.
Brad Meyer will handle duties by himself in the absence of Dvorsky. Steve Barton and Ryan Galloway are on the lines. 51 seconds left in the Clarkson penalty. Colburn on the face-off. Camilleri in after it. It's Glenn Cross back to Weidman. And Glenn Cross a shot, and Bernier with an easy stop.
Bolin jumps on the ice immediately to take this draw over to the right of Jonathan Bernier. Bolin's been off to a fantastic offensive start for the Maple Leafs in the early part of his first year here in Toronto.
That puck slides out to center. Russell knocked down by Boland, and now he'll play it back to Gunnarsson, and he'll drift it down the ice with under a half minute remaining in the Flames' first power play of the night.
Those are two draft picks that look like they're very well spent by Dave Nonis. The way that Boland has been able to fill out the Toronto center position.
Here's Glenn Cross, Camilleri, Brody, Weidman, back. Camilleri fires, rebound, swung in front by Colburn wide. And Phaneuf is up with it, and he'll clear. So the shot's now 13-5 in favor of Calgary. Toronto back at full strength. Couple of shots on that power play by the Flames, but it remains 1-0 Toronto. Pass got by Jones down the ice. It's wide of the net, and an icing call against Calgary.
One of the byproducts of this two-goalie system that the Leafs are employing with James Reimer and Jonathan Bernier is that there is such an internal competition between the two of them because they both want the net. They both feel that they're number one NHL goaltenders, and when they get the net, they fight like heck to keep it. And Bernier, you don't think he notices what's going on the way that Reimer's played the last couple of starts, and he's responded with a fantastic first 16 minutes tonight.
Well, Bernier had a little of the momentum or edge, if you will, early in the season. Reimer's got it back, and likely would have been in goal tonight had it not been a back-to-back situation after his brilliant performances in his last two starts.
They have a pretty light schedule, the Leafs do. They're in Vancouver on Saturday afternoon, and then they don't play again till next Friday.
Morgan Rielly, Nazem Kadri, and that hot shot sailed high, and back the other way goes Stajan to the attack. Here's Stajan dropping it off. Jones looking for Hudler, and Rielly got back to break it up. Good recovery for Morgan Rielly, and it's out at center. And Kessel swoops on it. Here's Kessel with a great move on Weidman. Rolling the shot through, and Ramo will hold on. 1-0 for the Leafs here in Calgary.
Sometimes when you make a mistake, you can get out of it if you can skate. Morgan Rielly shouldn't go behind the net, so he gets caught. Now he realizes, I got to get going here. This is such an efficient stride from Rielly. He's able to get all the way back, 170 feet or so, to get back and spoil the play. He's looked really, really solid in his early portion of his career. His strength physically, yet you mesh it with the way that he skates, and he's done a real nice job for the Leafs.
Here's David Boland working his way through center. Mason Raymond on the left wing. Bad angle, try to throw it in front. That went off the skeet to Butler. And Brody will take over. TJ Brody ahead. Gagliardi knocked off stride by Ranger. Flipped in and Camilleri on the forecheck, but it's Clarkson sending it out to center. Raymond on the far side will chip it deep and he'll head off on a change. Trevor Smith in on the forecheck, the fourth line center for the Leafs tonight. Now Ashton after it. Gets a hit on Derek Smith. Berchi up with it. And Sven Berchi to the red line. A move there. Just got out of the way of a hit from Colton Orr. And now Orr's got it. Back for Carter Ashton. Can't sift it through. And Berchi back the other way. Shifting gears on Gunnarsson, who won't let him by. Dion Phaneuf, 75 goals as a Calgary Flame. Rolls down into Flames ice with under 2 minutes left here in the opening period. Lupul from Gardner and Kadri, the scoring play for Toronto at 7:56 at the end of a power play. Here's Colton Orr working against Chris Russell, who recovered in behind the net. And Riemsdyk tried to center it, and it'll be Glenncross away. Curtis Glenncross over the line. Stajan's got it. Plays it back for Russell. Traffic in front, and it just rolled wide. Close call there as Glenncross was on the doorstep. Weidman fires off a leg. And it's Van Riemsdyk flipping it deep and going after it. David Jones rolling it in. Down to a minute remaining.
There's 1 minute remaining in the first period.
Here in the opening period. Gagliardi sends it back, and Bernier will stop it up in behind the net for Ranger and Gardner. Raymond unable to get it out. Gagliardi stopped up the line. His stick got broken, and there's going to be a slashing call. Leafs are going to be shorthanded once again, and it's David Bolland headed off.
Toronto penalty number 63, a minor penalty for slashing.
Well, when the stick disintegrates, it's a pretty easy call for the officials. As you'll see, Boland's stick come over top of Gagliardi, and he holds it up for all to see. Here's the last shot that just trickles by the goalpost of Bernier. Point shot with traffic again. Glenncross in front. The Flames have done a real nice job. Jones and Glenncross again getting tight to Bernier, keeping him in the goal crease as much as they possibly can. It's often not going to be pretty for the Flames, and they're going to have to muck it around the front of the net. They've done a real good job tonight. They did a really good job against Washington on Saturday with it as well.
And Riemsdyk fanned on the clear. It'll be held in by Weidman. Jones up front with Monahan and Hudler. Weidman fires right on. Rebound chopped away by Phaneuf.
Well, Weidman can really load it up, and after Van Riemsdyk fanned on that clear, that forced Bernier into a pretty difficult stop.
4 times in his career, Dennis Weidman scored double-digit goals, 10 plus, and got that big shot from the point. Leafs come up with it here, and it's Van Riemsdyk out. Jay McClement leads all NHLers in time. The shot scores! Short-handed goal! James Van Riemsdyk.
Really nice play by Van Riemsdyk driving the middle of the ice, and McClement getting him the puck. But Kerry Ramo's got to stop this puck. It goes right in the middle of the net. Good play on the wall here as Van Riemsdyk and McClement switch spots. Watch where this puck goes. It's right in the, it couldn't be more in the middle of the net. And with under 5 seconds left, from that angle, that puck cannot go in. As Lupul watches, they see the chance, and the Leafs are up 2-0 on the shorthanded goal by James Van Riemsdyk.
7th for Van Riemsdyk, 7th for Lupul earlier, and essentially the lead formula for success early in the year: good goaltending and good special teams. They score a goal right after a power play, a short-handed goal by Van Riemsdyk, and lead 2-0 after 1. As we head back to the studio, here's James Duthie. Well, James, it was a scary start for the Leafs as Calgary had 8 shots less than 5 minutes into the game, but it's 15-7 at the end of one period, and yet the team with the 7 shots, Ray, has a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I don't know how sustainable this is for the Leafs as it happens night after night after night. They get outshot. In the first period, the last 4 or 5 games, they've been outshot plenty in the first period, but they've been riding some excellent goaltending, whether it be James Reimer last night or Jonathan Bernier tonight. They didn't have a number of quality scoring opportunities, the Leafs did. This is just at the tail end of a power play. Joffrey Lupul gets a couple of whacks at it to score his 7th, and then late in the period, shorthanded James Van Riemsdyk and Jay McClement play catch. And Van Riemsdyk's wrister goes right through Kerry Ramo, and the Leafs ride the excellent goaltending early of Bernier and some opportunistic offensive play for a 2-0 lead.
So Ramo stays in goal. 2-0-2 in his career against Toronto as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning before going back to the KHL.
You know, Chris, when you look at the Leafs goaltenders, they have a 93 save percentage Bernier and almost 95 for Reimer, and the Flames are both in the 89% range, both Ramo and Joey McDonald. It's quite a difference.
Here's Phaneuf losing the puck. Calgary starts the second period with that power play, and back again comes McClement, who got his first point of the year on the shorthanded goal by Van Riemsdyk, swooping in behind the net, and now losing it. Colborne with the outlet, and Chris Russell hits north. Over the line, a pass for Camilleri. Russell follows up into the skates of Weidman. Into the slot. Deflects back to Russell. And what a stop. Bernier came across. Here's a chance. Camilleri, and it's blocked. Curtis Glencross with the deflection, and Bernier thwarts him again. Glencross with 3 shots in the opening period. Bernier's had his number so far. Glencross has it again. Tries to center, and Gunnarsson breaks that up. And back to Russell, and now across into the skates of Camilleri, and Bernier out, and Camilleri looking for Colborne on the back door. It's Camilleri, one-timer right on. Penalized player Boland is back on the ice. So more chances hit in front again, and Colborne couldn't redirect as Camilleri looked for the former Leaf at the side of the goal one more time. Now Boland over the line into the slot. His shot stopped by Russell. Calgary will counter, and 3 Flames through center. Over the line is Hudler. He'll send it into the corner. Berchi knocked down there by Franson. Berchi stays with the puck. Monahan looking for it as well. And out of the scrum, Morgan Riley plays it around the boards, and Lupul will flip it out. Flames invade again. Berchi's pass off a skate, and Boland sends it to center. TJ Brodie up for Monahan. Berchi on his backhand. Great pass in front, and what a stop. Bernier with another great save, and now will hold on. Jonathan Bernier, unstoppable so far.
Well, this has been one constant of the Flames season, is no matter what the game looks like, they've been almost relentless in their effort. They come out of the gate here, get a couple of real good chances early. This is a gorgeous backhand dish from Sven Barchi to Yuri Hudler. Hudler goes backhand shelf, but he doesn't get it up over Bernier. This is earlier on the power play. Great look by Chris Russell to Glencross. Nice stop by Bernier, and then after Dion Phaneuf didn't clear the puck, Camilleri wants to go goal-mouth feed to Colborne. Nice play with the stick and pad of Bernier to deflect that aside, but a real good start for the Flames here.
Here's Brodie's shot, knocked down en route. He'll hold it in. The former Saginaw Spirit defenseman. Stagin shot redirected by Jones in front. Sprawling is Glencross, and the Leafs are able to get it out. Sent in by Ranger right on Ramo. Brodie an outlet, and here goes Stagin. Matt Stagin with some room. Trailing Brodie, shot right on, rebound in front of the net, and Bernier with another save. That's 6 in the opening 3 minutes. And Kessel wires a shot that deflects up onto the netting, but Jonathan Bernier putting on a show here tonight in Calgary.
You don't want your goaltender to have to be this good. Look at the bad read here as Gardner gets in. He doesn't get body, and he certainly doesn't get puck. Nice pickup by Van Riemsdyk wide, but Gardner doesn't get back in time on Brody. And so Gardner, who pinched at the offensive hash marks, he circles rather than get on his horse to get all the way back, and that leads to a terrific chance for TJ Brody right in the heart of the ice, and Bernier with his 21st stop.
Brody, one of the cornerstones of the rebuild here in Calgary, and he's had a good night. Puck into the benches. Chance to remind you, TSN's rugby action continues on Sunday. Canada takes on the New Zealand Maori All Blacks in an international friendly presented by AIG. Live coverage gets underway at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TSN.
So Gagliardi almost whacked me in the coconut in the first period with his stick, and that time he shoots it in here. I got to have a talk with that boy. That dangerous in here.
May stem from some harsh words you had for him last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
I think he's got your number.
I'll tell you one thing, it's pretty hard to hide in here. Every time he comes over here now, I'm going to have to find a new place to be.
Suddenly, TJ Gagliardi has some new fans.
Yeah, our producer's telling me he's now his favorite player.
Here's Gagliardi, Camilleri, and TJ goes after it. Gagliardi, who played with Thornton and Brent Burns and the San Jose Sharks, line up front in the playoffs last year.
He's kind of ping-ponged his way around this lineup. They use him in the middle of the ice. They'll play him on both wings, and while he hasn't produced a great deal, he brings energy. He's a really good forechecker, and as Bob Hartley kind of moves his chess pieces around on a nightly basis, Gagliardi seems to be the guy that can go from line to line easiest.
Former Calgary minor hockey player with the North Stars and the Royals, and played junior with the Hitmen as well.
And he's played a lot of hockey in this arena, that's for sure.
Ashton and Jackman having words as Barry Ramo gets a new stick. It's a long conversation between Ashton and Jackman, and they will continue to duel as the puck is dropped.
The Leaf bench is yelling at Ashton not to fight him.
Gardner tries to knock it down. It comes outside the line. Jake Gardner with a point in the first period. And Gardner up with it now. Similar story to TJ Brody. Young, good skating defenseman who's moved to the right side. And Brody talking this morning about that adjustment. And Gardner with the same task, and Jackman in the middle of it again, trying to stir things up.
If you're going to move a defenseman to their offside, the one thing that is almost gospel is they have to be able to really skate. They've got to be able to turn, and they've got to be able to chase the play. It's because everything on your offside is on your backhand, and you have to be able to create some space for yourself, and both Brody and Gardner can do that. Now with TJ Brody, Bob Hartley was talking over the last week or so that Brody has to believe how good he is. He's got to raise his own bar, his own expectations, that he can be a much better player than he is right now, and a better player than maybe he thinks he is right now.
Puck is kept in the Calgary zone. Kessel sliding it through. There's Kadri. Another point tonight for Nazem Kadri. Beats Cody Franson, trying to get it through. Knocked down by Brody. Brody, one of the many players getting used to those shot blockers that have been much talked about in Toronto. Here comes David Jones, and he fires it right on, and Bernier's got another stop.
David Jones back in the Flames lineup after being injured earlier in the season. Jones missed 4 games. He doesn't have a point. He's -4 in his 3 games in his return, but he walks into one, and while the shot is good, Bernier just has had Velcro on him tonight. Everything that hits him lands right in his lap. He's had an excellent start.
22 stops, 25 minutes into the game. Weidman sends it wide of the net. Berkey's on it. Knocked off his stick by Ranger. And Clarkson will clear to center. The Flames without Mark Giordano. Devastating news in the last day or two that Giordano's out with a broken ankle. Be out 6 to 8 weeks. Here's Berkey trying to dart in and just cut off the last second. A breakaway pass for Clarkson. And Russell got back as Clarkson didn't have much momentum, and the speedy Russell was able to recover.
Well, Chris, you referenced these shot blockers that the players wear. They don't like wearing them, a lot of the guys. You can barely see them, but what they are is they're hard plastic that sits over top the outside of the boot and up over top of the laces. And the reason they don't like them is when the pass comes, never mind a shot, they get it for the shot blocks. But when a pass comes and if it deflects a little bit off their foot, it ricochets off those shot blockers. And the difference is when I played, coaches requested you block shots. Now it's a demand, and I don't know why any player wouldn't wear them now. Even if you don't want to block, you're going to end up in the shooting lane eventually.
Here's Gagliardi, and following up, a Colburn shot doesn't get through. Colburn over 8 minutes in the opening period. Bruin first-round draft choice, traded to the Leafs for Thomas Kaberle. And now trying to claim a regular spot in the Calgary lineup. Camilleri dueling along with Gunnarsson, who takes the puck away and gets it out to center. Port Hope native Shane O'Brien to the far side, and it'll be rolled back in by Derek Smith. 6 minutes into the second period, it's Toronto leading 2-0. Pass gets beyond Ashton, and that's an icing call against Toronto.
With Paul Dvorsky, one of the officials injured in the first period after being hit with that Cody Franson clearing attempt. Oh, actually, here comes Devo back on the ice now. He gets a handshake from his partner, Brad Meyer. I was going to say, if I'm playing in the game with one official, I know there's areas on the ice now that I can hook and hold that I can't get detected with one guy. That goes out the window with the second guy on the ice.
Gotta love hockey. There's a lot of sports that injury would have knocked a player out for the rest of the game, but here's a hockey official back, and Bernier has to squeeze the pads there as the Flames remain on the attack. They have outshot the Leafs 23-10. There's Sean Monahan getting acquainted with Dion Phaneuf, but Jonathan Bernier has been a showstopper tonight. Back at the Saddle Dome, let's check in with Mark Masters.
Yeah, Chris, referee Dvorsky, moments before he came back out to the ice, they were still trying to stop the bleeding from his ear. Right before he walked out towards the ice, the Calgary Flames team doctor who had been attending to him asked him, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Dvorsky nodded his head. I spoke to the doctor afterwards. I said, "How many stitches?" He just shook his head and said, "A whole bunch."
I'll give Devo full marks.
Hard to believe now one of the league's most veteran and senior officials. Watched him officiate for a long time. Has always had a real good feel for the game. Really good rapport with the players. He doesn't take much from them.
Matt Stajan won a face-off and got that puck to the side of the net. Now it's Brody a shot, and that's turned away once again by Bernier. The Stajan line's been dangerous just about every time out tonight with Curtis Glencross and David Jones. Here's Butler bouncing it through, and that's knocked wide of the rebound. Glencross again comes close. TJ Brody rolling, puck fires it wide.
Well, this is
just get rid of it.
Sorry, Chris. This is a debacle defensively now for the Leafs. I mean, they've got to make some commitment to the way that they're playing in their zone. Way too many circles, not enough effort in front of the net. Look at the Flames in front again. That's Glencross behind Gardner. He tips it, and it's another great stop for Jonathan Bernier. And in 27 minutes, the Flames have shot the puck at Bernier on the net 25 times. That's just no good defensively by the Leafs.
Saw that stat. The Leafs have seen this develop in the second period a lot this year. Here's a great pass, bringing Kessel moving in, and Russell stayed with them and will knock it back to the Leaf line.
I mean, your goaltender's allowed to be your best player, but this is a little much here.
Now Van Riemsdyk's got room. He'll fire it. That goes off Weidman. Kessel into the corner looking for the loose puck. On it is Camilleri. He gets tied up by Van Riemsdyk. Played back to Riley. Across Frenson. Shot and a glove stop by a guy who hasn't been very busy here in the second, Kari Ramo. James Dundee has an update. second period this year, the Leafs have outscored their opponents 18-8, which is remarkable because they've been outshot 159-102. That defies all the analytics, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it just doesn't make sense after a while, and you have to believe that if this rope-a-dope style continues, that they're going to end up running themselves into a little bit of trouble. Eventually, your goalies aren't going to stop 94-95% of the shots.
Bolin, Clarkson, Raymond check in, trying to reverse the momentum that Calgary has built in territorial play here in the second period. Clarkson getting leaned on by Russell. Cycles it back for Raymond, trying to glove it down off the glass. Clarkson steals and shot it wide. Franson started it, and now he'll backtrack. Away goes Glenn Boma over the line. He gets hit by Franson. Raymond will swing it up the boards, and McGrattan sends it high and off target. Fourth line comes out for Bob Hartley. Trying to energize the Flames and maybe create something too. A big hit by Beaumont Riley. Raymond flips it out to center ice. Jackman a little trouble with it. Stolen by Lupul, and a rocket goes high and wide. McGrattan lost the handle, but Jackman able to get it deep, and he took a hit from Ashton at the end of a shift. Got number 37's number. He may have filed that away. Here's McClement over the line. Gardner had hopped up on the rush. Gardner back to Ranger, a shot. It's loose in front of the net. And the Flames are up with it as Derek Smith just back up from Abbotsford with the injury to Giordano, able to get it out.
Yeah, he played in the game against Washington. He and his partner Shane O'Brien played about 6.5 minutes each. They were dashed too in the game. This is the second game back for Derek Smith. Brian
McGrattan's been out a long time, end of a shift. He can't get off, but here comes Van Riemsdyk. Kadri down the middle. Kessel on the left side. And Kadri now from the corner. Back to the point. Pettersson spots Phaneuf. He'll return to sender. And in the middle, Kadri's got it. Shot is blocked. Berchi in the shooting lane and staging out. Now Brody high off the glass, rims it in. Glenn Cross for staging. That good line for Calgary out again. It rolls to Bernier, and he'll cover.
This is about 6 or 7 minutes ago. Jackman and Ashton tied up on the draw. The Leafs bench was yelling at Ashton not to fight against Jackman, and then you see Jackman go right to Ashton at the whistle at the end of that shift. Now the next time they were on the ice, Ashton lines up Jackman and finishes a real solid hit. Jackman's an agitating player, and he's been in and out of the lineup. Ashton's just a young guy trying to stake his claim to a spot in the Leafs lineup. He can skate, he's big, and he's tried to play with an edge since the beginning of camp. And Ashton's done himself some favors here in the pecking order of the Leafs lineup.
Stay tuned. Stajan wins another face-off. Weidman a shot, and that sails high. It'll come down for Clarkson. Striding down the right side. Into the corner, and Chris Russell back to get it. Raymond knocked it down. Clarkson tries to center. Back for Raymond, then across. Gardner can't get a shot through. Ranger sends it deep. Clarkson reaching for it behind the net. Knocked off his stick. And up onto the netting. And out of play. Past the midway mark of the second period. Shots 26-12. Calgary. Our player profiles brought to you by Scotiabank. Tonight we profile Joe Colborne, who played 16 games with the Leafs. A product of the Springbank minor hockey system here in Calgary. Said they won the SO Cup as 6- and 7-year-olds. Played as a 6-year-old here at the Saddle Dome. Al McInnes, Jarome Iginla, his hero. And his role model, Mason Raymond, followed Raymond's path from the Camrose Kodiaks to college hockey to the NHL. And Colburn's had a good night against his former team as he tries to establish a role for himself here in Calgary. Didn't have a great Camp Ray in Toronto and a slow start here with the Flames, but has played well in the last couple of games, and he's been good tonight. Here's Gagliardi, another local product. Trying to get away from Ranger. Derek Smith, weak shot wide. Joffrey Lupul, who opened the scoring, gets it to Trevor Smith. Smith works in, and that off the glove of Ramo. Colton Orr bodied in the corner. There's Colburn losing it, and it's Orr centers, loose in front of the net, and Colburn gets it out of harm's way.
Here.
Orr's got some time to send it back in. Lupul on the forecheck, Butler reverses it.
Joffrey Lupul out with the fourth line. Fraser McLaren's not on the Leaf bench, has not returned since that fight in the first period with Brian McGrattan.
O'Brien sends it in and gets a change for Calgary. Under 8.5 minutes remaining here in the second period. Shots 2-1, 26-13, but it's Toronto leading 2-0 on goals by Lupul and Van Riemsdyk. The latter a short-handed goal in the dying seconds of the opening period. Kadri, here's a 2-on-1. Van Riemsdyk down the ice. Van Riemsdyk in front and off the side of the net. Centers it off the skate of Jones. Franson's hot pass out of the reach of Kadri. Quick counter there. Van Riemsdyk and Kadri. And now Stajan taken down. Another penalty pending against Toronto. Stajan up with a pass for Brody. Ramos gone to the bench for an extra attacker. Wideman sends it over. Hudler's on the ice. Jones in front. Loose and batted away. And here comes the penalty call that will send Calgary to its third power play of the night. And it's Phil Kessel.
This is another strength of Jonathan Bernier. Look how he holds the puck, makes a nice pass, and the Leafs 2 passes later, Van Riemsdyk has a glorious chance that he just backhands wide. Here's the Kessel interference penalty. He's almost trying to get out of the way of Stajan, except he flattens him in the middle of the ice. And a rare minor penalty for Phil Kessel. Even he seems amused by it. Of course, Randy Carlyle's not too amused by much. Between the whistles, he's telling the referee, Paul Dvorsky, to use his head. They just ran together, but the Flames go on the power play.
Second minor penalty against Kessel this year. And Flames 0 for 2 with 5 power play shots so far in the game, and they've given up a shorthanded goal. Russell, Wideman, Monahan, Jones, and Hudler. Hudler with 6 power play points, and here's the youngster Monahan firing it around to the far side. Held in by Hudler. Little room for Wideman. In the middle it goes, and Jones unable to redirect through. Former Medicine Hat Tiger Chris Russell at the wheel for the Flames. He'll drop it off, and now Wideman's in. Moving up is Hudler. Loose puck and a chance to clear Ranger off Wideman, and now Raymond will get it down. Well, they had good pressure on their first 2 power plays, Ray. Slow to set up here on their third.
But the lack of the entry with any speed has really hampered the Flames at times. In the first 2 power plays, however, they attacked much quicker and they got into the zone with relative ease.
Camilleri worked his way in. TJ Brody will send it through. Rebound loose in front. Colburn can't find it. Camilleri on it, and it's chopped away by Ranger. Held in by Brody. Camilleri tries to return it. Gets it to Brody. Back for Camilleri. And across, there's Wideman. Glenn Cross at the side of the net. Colburn had his stick snapped, and he has to go to the bench as the Leafs clear. Couple dozen seconds remaining in the penalty to Kessel. One last attack. Brody across, and Hudler's in. Brody for Camilleri. Hudler's side of the net. Glenn Cross back door. It'll come over to Butler. He fires right on. Rebound is cleared as it's sent down the ice by Van Riemsdyk.
I had that a real good view of that. That's right in my eye line, and Bernier had to fight through the screen. He didn't pick that point shot up from Butler until late. He did a real nice stop on it.
2 shots on that unsuccessful third power play. 29 in the game for Calgary. Leafs have allowed on average 35.5 shots against per game. Hudler back in. Got it to Butler. Walks in. Fires right on. Puck was loose in front again. The Leafs get it to the corner. Kadri tied up, but gets it for Van Riemsdyk, and Kessel was gathering speed as Van Riemsdyk wants a change and just fires it down. Goaltending clinic here tonight from Jonathan Bernier. And that's an icing call against Toronto.
Since the very first foray into the offensive zone, the Flames have had all kinds of traffic in front of Jonathan Bernier. There you see the point shot by Brody. There's one by Butler that he has to fight off. He's not getting a good look at these. He's got to fight his way through. And this is the one by Butler here that threw the screen in front of the net. A difficult look, yet he's able to get enough of his body on it to keep the puck in front of him. He's had just a terrific night here in goal for Toronto.
Flames had 15 shots in the first period. They had 15 shots in the second. Under 4.5 to go. Here's a point shot. Ramo gets a piece of that. Wraparound try by Lupul, and Ramo came across. Along the boards, Lindcross looks for it, and he comes up with it and heads north with Coleman. Over the line, and he's stopped up. Morgan Rielly, quick counter along with Kadri. Rielly jumps up, pass across. Lupul trying to barge through, and he was checked by Colburn and recovered. Now Colburn for David Jones. Chips it in. Jackman trying to skeet onto it. Bernier out. Jackman a little hack on the goaltender. Out beyond the blue. And play is stopped. 3:52 remaining here in the second period. Jonathan Bernier continues to shine.
Thought he had his first NHL goal last night, did Morgan Rielly, but they awarded the goal to Kadri. Here he is defensively using that skating ability that's much talked about. He closes the lane off on Coburn, gets his stick into the rush, and look how quickly he gets up to the middle of the ice. Creates a 3-on-2 with his jump that all starts with a real nice, simple defensive play at his own hash marks.
Randy Carlyle has said he's not going to the World Juniors. We need him, said the coach. Number 23, Sean Monahan, out on the ice right now, is still a possibility, according to Calgary Brass, for Team Canada at the World Juniors.
I would say that speaks as much to where each team thinks they are. Calgary, of course, in a rebuild and a development stage of their operations. They feel perhaps at that time that Monahan might be best served playing over in Sweden at the World Junior Championship. That'll be something for Jay Feaster and his management team to decide, and they'll talk to Bob Hartley and see where they feel he's at. That would be a tough go for Monahan, because you're playing in the National Hockey League, you fly all the way to Europe, you're in an intense tournament setting, and then you come back and you got to join the NHL again. The back half of the year is no picnic either. It would be a long year for an 18-year or 19-year-old.
It would be a good experience. What would be the upside of that opportunity for him?
Well, the upside would be that he would be a top dog, and he would play all kinds of situations against guys his own age. You would think that he's going to have to scramble a little bit at some point. Oh, there's Carter Ashe, and he's going to have to fight now.
Bad hit on Derek Smith, and Shane O'Brien goes to the defense of his defensive partner. And it didn't take long for O'Brien. Smith is back up, so looks like he'll be all right. And the linesmen step in. So they'll be fighting majors, and we'll see if Ashton gets the extra minor as Derek Smith collects himself after that hit.
Earlier in the year, Ashton broke his nose in a fight, and it looks like he's got it whacked again tonight here as O'Brien landed one on him. Derek Smith fine on the Calgary bench. Watch how far Ashton comes here in the middle of the ice. 2 strides, and he hits him right between the numbers. It's a bad hit for Ashton to make. Right here, he's got to let up on him a little bit. That's in that danger zone there, Chris. It's so dangerous for the player being hit. You don't really have enough time to react, and we'll see what the penalties are handed out. Right now, there's nothing on the board.
And You saw the shrug from Glencross, which would indicate perhaps there is not going to be.
So it looks like it's
Okay.
4-on-4, Chris.
Okay, there is a boarding penalty to Ashton,
And that must be
and O'Brien would like
get
to
it.
get the instigator.
correct. So I guess everything washes out here as we see, and it's now 5-on-5 hockey.
Face off won by the Flames. Here's Glencross. Stajan in the middle scores. And Stajan has his first of the year and finally solves Jonathan Bernier.
Well, that was bound to happen eventually here as the Leafs have given up their 31st shot, and it's shot 31 that beats Bernier. Second effort on the draw by Matt Stajan, and Kadri makes two mistakes on this play. He fishes for the puck here, and he doesn't get Glencross his body, nor does he keep his stick on the puck, and Glencross makes a nice backhand feed to Matt Stajan, and the former Leaf cracks the egg, and the Flames are on the board.
It's been the best line on the ice tonight, hasn't it?
It really has, and after such a great night last night offensively for Kadri, Kessel, and Van Riemsdyk, it's not been such a good night for Kadri and Kessel tonight, as they have gotten very little going so far. They've spent most of the first 40 minutes in their zone.
So Stajan, who had an injury and is playing in just his fourth game of the year, has his first of the season, now passes to Jones, and that shot is smothered by Bernier as the Stajan line moves in again. Stajan from Glencross and Brody at 17:03 ends a Leaf shutout streak of 150 minutes and 11 seconds.
Carlisle not happy with the way that these periods have played out as he's put the blender to his lines a little bit here. Now you got McClement, Van Riemsdyk, and Lupul. As with Ashton in the locker room, and McLaren as well, after both being injured in fights. Ashton, it looks like he's broken his nose. At least he's got a bloody nose for sure. And McLaren not returning early. They're down to 10 forwards.
Colburn picked the pocket of Lupul and gets a shot into the glove of Bernier. Ashton had a broken nose in the season opener in Montreal in a bout with Jared Tenorti.
So we'll get another look at the goal here. Kadri goes fishing here for the puck, and when he doesn't get Glencross, that opens up room for this. Now Phaneuf is standing right in front of Matt Stajan. He doesn't get out to him quick enough. The shot goes through Phaneuf's legs, past the glove side of Jonathan Bernier. And Matt Stajan creates the chance by a second effort win on the draw against Kadri. Stajan wins it, and then he finishes it off after the Glencross dish.
Camilleri, Gagliardi, Colburn back on the ice for Calgary. That new line for the Leafs has Jay McClement centering Lupul and Van Riemsdyk striding in. James Van Riemsdyk cutting to the net, and Weidman slowed him up, and Ramo covers up.
That's a good play for Weidman. He's at a speed disadvantage here big time against James Van Riemsdyk. Once Van Riemsdyk gets out in the open field, he can really move. He's got such a long stride, and here he does a real nice job of protecting the puck, and what he's trying to do is flick it with his one hand through where Weidman's stick is, so if the puck gets through, then he can shoot it immediately. However, he doesn't get it all the way through. Weidman makes a nice play to foil the rush.
Boland against Stajan on the face-off. Raymond and Clarkson on the wings for the Leafs. Play to the point. Gunnarsson sends it deep. There's Clarkson in behind the net. Back up top for Gunnarsson. Paul Ranger on that right point. Clarkson bumped by Brody. Puck into the slot. Calgary unable to clear, but it's off Raymond and out to center. It's like even the defensive pairings were altered for a bit as now David Jones gets it in, and Calgary will start a change. Just over a minute left in the second period. The Leafs had a last-minute goal in the first, and that is the difference in the game. 16 years of illustration, and they still don't know where to draw the line. There's only one South Park, and it's now only on Much. Watch a brand new episode tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Dennis Weidman bouncing it in wide of the net. Camilleri can't reach it. Then Kessel starts out. Kessel, Van Riemsdyk, and Kadri back together. They work in, and Kadri can't get the shot away. Riley had stepped up. It's played past him and out to center. Here in the final minute, Kadri back to the attack. Van Riemsdyk, a little room in the middle, and Kessel redirects just wide.
Well, these two guys, Kessel and Van Riemsdyk, like that pass across to a streaking winger on the other side of the net. They've been very dangerous the last few games with it.
Gagliardi played it to the side of the net. Weidman had been moving down. Flames in the midst of a change as it's off the stick of Bernier and up onto the netting with under a half minute remaining.
So with the draw deep in the zone and under 30 seconds, McClement goes out along with David Boland and Clarkson as the Leafs are looking to just get out of this period with a 1-goal lead.
Shots are 20-8 here in the second in favor of Calgary. Boland wins the draw, sent around, and Brody unable to hold it in. Bank pass at the line, station rink wide, neatly in the middle for Brody. Backhand, and that one redirected wide of the net. Slowed up as Clarkson as he's tangled up with Stachin. Dogged checking by Stachin as the clock winds down to end the second period. As Calgary gets on the board, they're within 1 through 2 periods of play. 2-1 Toronto after 40. As we rejoin James Duthie and the panel.
Calgary 1, shots on goal in the second period.
James, the Leafs top line was a big story last night, creating 4 goals. Tonight, Ray, just 4 shots. They've had trouble getting out of their own end at times.
Yeah, the story is that they can't get out of their end, and one of the reasons is there's way too much circling, not enough stop and start, and too much turning over of the puck. Here on this shift, you're going to get several examples of it, whether it's Kadri behind the net, and as the play continues on, they're going to get an opportunity here to clear it. Kessel doesn't, Kadri doesn't. You stay in the zone. By the time you eventually get the puck back, after Bernier makes another good stop, you've got no gas left in order to create anything at the other end of the ice. A face-off loss, and look at the circling in their zone. They don't get out tight enough to the Flame players to take away puck possession. It's not been a very good night at all for the Leafs' number 1 line.
Although Van Riemsdyk a short-handed goal late in the opening period. That's the difference in the game as we head to the third.
No matter how you get here, the Leafs are in this position. They've got a 1-goal lead, and we'll see if they can muster up their best period. Play with energy, play with a stiffness that they haven't been able to play with in the first 2 periods, because Calgary's been the better team.
And Calgary should have the fresher legs. Last game for them was Saturday. This is the 3rd time the Leafs have played on back-to-back nights, and they have won the first 2 and have the 2-1 lead to start the 3rd period here.
Carter Ashton's back in the penalty box for the Flames, so they'll have closer to a full complement of forwards when his major penalty is finished being served.
Face-off won by the Flames in their own zone, and it's Camilleri sending it out. Up comes Weidman over the line with Gagliardi. He'll chip it in behind the net. Takes a hit there from Phaneuf, but Colburn crashes in. Caused the turnover. Puck loose in front, and Kessel came back to intercept the pass. Now Kadri gets it to Van Riemsdyk. Working against TJ Brody. Off the glove of Ramo and the rebound. As Ramo gave up the rebound, you heard the guys talk about Bernier not giving up rebounds, and there was a second chance that Ramo nearly got burned on.
Yeah, and it wasn't all that difficult to shot. Van Riemsdyk had scored the short-handed goal in the first period, beat Ramo underneath his glove. There's a 50-foot floater that hits the eject button in Ramo's glove, and Kadri jumps on the loose puck for the rebound chance.
Stachin line checks in. They have 15 shots in the game. Matt Stachin, the lone Calgary goal. He gets waived, and David Boland up against Glencross, and Glencross battles for the puck. It's Clarkson up with it. He'll chip it in into Chris Russell's corner. They go after it, and Russell won that battle with support from Stachin. Glencross takes it away. He'll dump it into the zone, and Stajan goes after it against Paul Ranger. Chip to Gardner. Up ahead, Raymond Luce on the left wing with Boland and Clarkson. David Clarkson on the backhand, sends it. And Ramo was looking behind there. It's underneath his pads, but the Flame netminder has looked uneasy in the Calgary goal tonight.
Looks like he's playing road hockey. The last couple of saves have been absolute adventures for Ramo. This is a shoveled backhand that deflects off a Weidman. Look at how Ramo reacts here. He misses it. Now he's not real sure where it is. It's underneath his pad somewhere.
Never good when you end up facing the net.
No, that just cannot be goaltending position A.
Now the message for the Leafs will be get shots as many and quickly as possible at Ramo here. Hudler on this face-off. McClement wins the draw, but it's off a Flame, and here goes Monahan streaking in. Monahan, and Bernier stops him. Another big stop for Jonathan Bernier. Easily a leading candidate here for Monahan, testing him again. GMC performer of the night. McClement at center, rolls it deep. Nice patience there by Monahan too to stop up, give himself some room, and a great scoring chance. Second in rookie scoring behind only Tomas Hertl of San Jose. Kessel flipping it wide of the net. Lupul in behind, tries to center. Weidman stays on Joffrey Lupul. Up near the line and lost it, and it comes out to center. Deflected back in by McClement, and Kadri hops over the boards. Weidman on the tape for Camilleri to the attack. There's Colburn, but Kadri back defensively to intercept the pass. Sends it around the boards, and Weidman had been retreating and has to take over at the blue line. Leaf and Flames fans dueling in the stands here with the cheers back and forth. Kessel tries to come off the boards. Phil Kessel trying to score in 5 consecutive games for the first time in his career. 7 goals in his last 4, which matches a previous personal best outburst. He had 7 in a 4-game span in October of 2011. David Jones knocked that down, but has to tag up on the delayed offside. Kadri bounces it down. Leafs will change. And there's room for the Flames to send it ahead, off Stajan and in. Cody Franson, he's checked. Gives it up to Glenn Cross. Cycles it back for Stajan. Watched by Riley to the side of the net. Boland was there. Comes back to the point. They're going to call a glove pass. Glenn Cross doesn't agree with it. Off the glove of Glenn Cross. And played by Smith, so the face-off will come outside the line.
Here the puck jumps up in the air. You see Glenn Cross just get a finger on it, and it becomes a glove pass. Here's the chance earlier by Monahan. He pokes the puck by Morgan Riley. And look at the patience here. He sees that Franson is going to slide. He stops up, head up the whole way, and then he tries to go up over the shoulder of Jonathan Bernier. Monahan with 6 goals, looking for goal 7.
It's not a great road trip for the Flames when they went to the West Coast, and a lot of teams will be saying that when this season is done, but Bob Hartley felt that he passed a major test on road games in Los Angeles, Anaheim, and San Jose. That's running the gauntlet too. It used to be Death Valley here in Alberta. Now it's California. Here's Jackman behind the net trying to tuck it in. And Lupul will flip it out to center. Past 4 minutes of the 3rd period. Chris Butler has 4 shots in the game. The Flames defense has generated 12. Over the line, that one knocked the mask right off Jonathan Bernier on another shot from Sean Monahan.
Well, Bernier checks to make sure the mask is okay, and he'll put it back on as this shot ramps up and catches Bernier right on the chin. Pops it straight up. You see him shake his head just a little bit. as Monahan's had the puck on his stick here at the beginning of the third period a couple of times.
So the mask has a dent, but it's like he's ready to continue without any repairs at the bench. Paul Dvorsky over there to say, I took one worse than that.
And Devo might actually be saying that, actually. As you see the stitches right on the inside of his left ear.
Yeah, he's got the head start on the Halloween costume.
He's going to have a headache for a day or so.
Stajan wins the faceoff. Russell shot knocked out in front as Jones was tied up by Morgan Riley. Kessel plays it back and the Leafs will get organized. Riley turns away from Stajan. And now the kid comes out to center. Nice pass on the left wing, Van Riemsdyk. Riley heads in deep. Weidman there defensively, but it's picked up by the Leafs. Centered for Kessel. Got a chance in front and couldn't slide it through with Van Riemsdyk on the doorstep.
There's that cross crease pass, Kessel to Van Riemsdyk we talked about in the second period. They love that play.
Now loose for Stajan. Can't get control of it. Kadri does. Franson up ahead. Kessel to the red line. Sends it deep. And that will start a change for Toronto.
Much better work by that line here at the start of the third period. Kadri had an excellent back check earlier to foil one chance. They've been on the puck much better and had some zone time here to start period 3.
Well, that 4-0 win last night, Randy Carlyle was able to not tax his top line or his busiest players, and they should have enough in the tank.
Well, there's Paul Dvorsky. We talked about him getting cut earlier in the game, and when Bernier's putting his mask on, you see Dvorsky telling him, yeah, I took one in the ear. I don't even have a mask on. He's a funny guy. Dvorsky's got a real good sense of humor.
And like the good officials, developed an excellent rapport with the guys on the ice.
There is no question the guys that you understand the best what they're doing are the ones that have a little bit of personality to them.
Clarkson a takeaway. Raymond drives to net. Clarkson holds fire. Who scores? Mason Raymond as David Clarkson sets it up.
Really nice hands by both Clarkson and Mason Raymond that create the 2-goal advantage for the Leafs. Clarkson's first point is a Toronto Maple Leaf, and then Mason Raymond with some nifty mitts at the goal post. Real nice play by Clarkson to create the turnover. He drags it around Chris Butler, and then Raymond standing to the right of Kerry Ramo. Once the shot is stopped, Raymond takes it from a little bit below the goal line to his backhand and deposits it in the empty net. Raymond's had a hat trick in this building before as a member of the Canucks. He likes playing here close to home, and his goal gives the Leafs a 3-1 lead.
The 11th goal against the Flames, a guy who wanted to be a Flame. And that one will be a sweet one for Mason Raymond. And as you mentioned, David Clarkson hits the score sheet for the first time as a Leaf. Pretty nice move by Clarkson to set it up. 5:59 the time of the goal.
When Raymond was a free agent in the early part of July, it really seemed like it was a good fit for him to come to Calgary, but it just never materialized. He ends up, of course, in Toronto on a tryout basis and signs a 1-year, $1 million deal.
Here comes Colburn, the former Leaf. Shot off target, chip to the line. Smith sends it off the end board. Camilleri a whack at it. Nice play by Derek Smith playing the carom. And again, the mask comes off Bernier. He may need to get it fixed up as the Flames fans show their displeasure. Mason Raymond on a nice play by David Clarkson gives the Leafs a 2-goal lead.
The last scramble around Jonathan Bernier, you're going to see Coburn get bumped into him, and he just pulls the mask off the top of Bernier. That draws the whistle. And Camilleri's throwing his 2 cents in, and Bernier's telling him what exactly went on and why his mask kept falling off. In the break, he went over to the Leafs bench to get some repairs, as they don't want the mask, of course, coming off, delaying the play. The Flames lose possession of the puck, and a possible scoring chance as the play has to be whistled dead immediately.
Well, I mentioned later tonight we'll have the GMC Sierra Performer of the Game. May not be that much suspense to it if it continues the way it has. Approaching 7 minutes of the third period. That puck hit somebody at the Leaf bench. The Leafs have allowed 38 shots, most against Toronto this year, 40 by Chicago. Jay McLennan, Colburn on the draw. Leafs prevail. Went up for Clarkson, and there was Russell stepping up. Colburn's got it. Good read by Russell to hold the zone, and now Weidman shot off McClement, and that high up onto the netting and out of play. Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey on TSN is brought to you by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. Another face-off in the Toronto zone. Sean Monahan steps in. McClement wins another draw. David Boland on it. Up for Clarkson. The old chip and chase. Up against Dennis Weidman. Russell a short pass and the Flames quickly out. Berchi across. Up on the rush is Weidman. Had some trouble with a little bobble, and Riley knocked it away. Mason Raymond to the Calgary line. Here's Hudler. Weidman. And Morgan Riley back to get it. Saturday he'll be playing in his hometown of Vancouver. Up against the Canucks. Takes a hit from Glenncross. It'll be kept in at the line. Back across Riley. His shot. Knocked out in front. Kadri sends it wide. Gardner steps up and it's knocked away from him. And back inside the Leaf line. Here's Nazem Kadri trying to help Kessel extend a streak. Gardner flips it into the slot. Kessel was knocked down, a little slow to get up. Now he's up, goes to the net, and Kadri can't get it past TJ Brody. Kessel in the corner. David Jones on him, knocked loose, and Stajan lost the handle, and Gardner will take over. Paul Ranger a pass up off the stick of Kadri, who turns back on a Leaf change. Flames deliberate as they start the breakout. Now a pass for Colburn, loose on the left side. Colburn walking in, but Phaneuf denies the shot. Colburn stays on it. And now McClement will take over. Gunnarsson follows up. The steady Carl Gunnarsson off the glass and in. Ramo dishes it to Derek Smith, who took that shot from Ashton in the second period. Carter Ashton back on the ice. Brent Ashton watching in the crowd tonight. There's Carter Ashton. Stays with it. Tried to feed Morgan Riley, and Gagliardi intercepts. Here's Cavallari over the line, and Gagliardi a half step ahead of it and offside.
As the Flames look to come back in this game, you're going to watch for their defense to be real active. These are back-to-back plays in the offensive zone. Phaneuf comes around the back of the net on a face-off win. He passes the puck. No chance to clear it out of the zone because Russell is pinched in. So on the next draw, Morgan Riley reverses it. The Flames are moving the other way to pinch down, and they're quickly out of the zone. So a small adjustment, face-off to face-off, and Riley reverses, and out of the zone they go.
Brody holds the zone, a shot right on. Off Bernier and picked up by Berchi. Franson bumping with him. Hudler behind the net. He's knocked off the puck by Boland. Delayed penalty coming up. Centering pass is touched by Clarkson. And Calgary's going to get a power play. David Clarkson looked like he was cut in front of the net.
Here's the tripping penalty as you see Boland with his stick between the legs of Hoodler, so that becomes the telltale sign as he shoves Hoodler to the ice. So Boland sits for 2, and at the halfway mark of the period, Calgary gets a power play to try and cut the lead to 1.
Boland, one of the Leafs' prime penalty killers. Flames power play 0 for 3 in a shorthanded goal against Colburn, Camilleri, Glenncross, Wideman, Russell. Colburn pulls it outside the line. 10 minutes gone in the third period. Joe Colburn over 19 minutes. That's a career high. Camilleri drops. Colburn's got it. Back to Wideman. And across, centered, and Glenncross unable to redirect. Glenncross for Camilleri in the far corner. Wideman tees and fires off Bernier and out of play.
Nice control save by Bernier as Wideman was a little disappointed with himself. He wanted that puck off the ice to make it a little harder for Bernier to handle. Here Bernier gets a clean look and he uses his stick to deflect it up into the netting and get the whistle.
40th shot of the game. And a little repair work to the stick is.
Man, he's high maintenance this period. Mask earlier, stick now.
Got a new friend. Paul Dvorsky helping out, and we're ready to go. 28 seconds gone in the penalty to Boland. Colburn battled, tried to kick it back, but Kadri pounced on it and clears it. And Randy Carlyle was anxious to underscore that he was now using Nazem Kadri in this role. Kadri enjoys the penalty-killing responsibility. That's another vote of confidence from the coach that he's becoming a complete player.
I think a high-skilled player, an offensive player, can kill penalties well because they see the game. They know what the offensive player is going to do or what he might be thinking about. And if they're willing to put the work in, see no reason why Kadri cannot kill penalties.
45 seconds remaining on a Calgary power play that's really not generated a lot yet. Hoodler will try and change that. Swings it back to the point. Here's Sven Berchi. Hoodler in the middle of that shot. Blocked by Gunnarsson. Didn't get through, and Carl Gunnarsson will clear it. He leads the Leafs in block shots.
Beautiful puck movement by the Flames, and it ends with the Gunnarsson block. Really moved the puck crisply though.
Berchi turned back by McClement. Brody will send it in. Dozen seconds left. And Riemsdyk along the boards. It'll come back to Berchi. He'll wind, and McClement blocks that. Monahan's got it. Hoodler in the corner, but Ranger on that. There's Boland out of the box, and Van Riemsdyk ahead. James Van Riemsdyk trying to charge in. Brody slowed him up, and Ramo holds on. 7:54 remaining, third period. 3-1 Toronto.
Pretty solid hit here. Oh, same guy, same team. As Kadri and Kessel run together.
Hasn't gone as smoothly as last night.
What a night from the first minute and a half when Kessel scored. 4 points for Kessel, and that line just had their way in the offensive zone.
And significant that after the game, Randy Carlyle suggested that if it continued, I think it's one of the first times he's ever mentioned that Kadri might stay up there along with Kessel.
Well, they've certainly got a free look until Bozak gets back. There'd be no reason to have to look anywhere else. It gives Kadri a couple of weeks for sure. There's a little bit of an open-endedness to when Tyler Bozak might be in the lineup, but this third period, they've looked like a number one line again after a little bit of a slumber in the first 40 minutes.
Calgary 7-2-1 in their last 10 meetings against Toronto. Leafs looking for their first win here in Calgary since 2002. David Clarkson charging down the ice. He's the man that set up the insurance goal. Morgan Riley a shot, and that one deflecting in, and Kari Ramo will hold on. Well, a reminder, Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey continues next. Red Wings in Vancouver to face off against the Canucks. Live coverage gets underway right after this game here on TSN. A rare Western Canadian doubleheader.
Good week out in Vancouver with the Red Wings in on tonight and the Leafs in there on Saturday afternoon. A couple of original six teams, always huge draws in Vancouver.
And here in Calgary, next up Detroit, then Chicago. Carter Ashton works along the boards, defers to Lupul. Franson sends it deep. McClement, Ashton, a backhand, and the rebound came out in front, and Calgary will turn with it. Mike Camilleri will chip it into the corner. Gagliardi goes after it against Riley. They tie up, and Morgan Riley coolly plays it up for Lupul. Chris Russell tried to pick his pocket, and it rolled down the ice, and an icing call against the Leafs with 6:15 on the clock.
See Lupul in the middle of the ice. He's given a pretty solid whack of his stick, the old beaver tap, but Ashton drives the puck to the net.
Here's Brody, a shot knocked down en route on the backhand. Hoodler took a bump from Franson. And McClement up with it. Lupul, Van Riemsdyk, and Raymond for Toronto. Staging the lone goal for Vancouver. Berchi, nifty move, fanned. And from his knees, plays it to Hoodler in front. Now back to Berchi. Monahan took a swipe at it and couldn't make contact as he was watched in front by Phaneuf. Calgary keeps it in. Hoodler back on it. Boy, Jiri Hoodler much more noticeable in this game, and obviously in the early going this season than he was in his first year with Calgary.
He told Bob Hartley in their year-end meeting that he was going to be a leader of this team when he came back in the offseason. He worked extremely hard. Last year was a difficult time for Hoodler. His first year here in Calgary, he lost his father right at the beginning of the year, very, very close to his dad, and really never seemed to get out of the gate with any vigor to his game. He looks completely different again this year.
25 and 23 goal seasons in Detroit, twice a 50-point man. Flames keep pushing. Chris Russell, a shot, scores! Change direction, and the Flames within one.
We've talked about the Flames having all kinds of traffic in front of Jonathan Bernier all night. This starts off the draw. Face-off helped by Glenn Cross. And then Glenn Cross stays on the puck with Gunnarsson, but it's the effort of Stajan that keeps it alive. D-to-D, Wideman to Russell, and here comes all the traffic in front of the net. Not sure if this bumps off of David Jones. Yes, it does, right there off of Jones's leg. Good wrist shot by Russell. Really good work by both Glenn Cross and Stajan to keep the puck alive, and we got a finish with 5 minutes left.
Third of the season for David Jones, his first point in 5 games, but that line's been good tonight. Colburn at the side of the net. And a good poke check there by Bernier to deny Colburn a move in front. 41st shot gets through, and it's a one-goal game. Jones from Russell and Wideman. Here's a centering pass by Camilleri, and Van Riemsdyk will turn. Tried to hit Kessel on the right wing, knocked down with a high stick, under 5 minutes left. And the shot by Chris Russell deflected by David Jones makes it a one-goal game in Calgary. The GMC Sierra Performer of the Game.
This wasn't really a hard one tonight. Jonathan Bernier has been fantastic in goal for the Maple Leafs. Made 39 stops with just under 5 minutes left here. Several of them very difficult with the Flames having traffic in front of them most of the night. Bernier has followed up an excellent start by James Reimer with one of his own.
4 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the third period. Mason Raymond scored the third Leaf goal, and now David Jones has cut that Toronto advantage to one. A shot, Rowe save, the rebound as Kessel was sent sprawling in front of the net.
That should be a tripping penalty. Ramo wasn't going for the puck.
Here's staging in front of the net, and Glenn Cross is dumped in front as well. Sticks get high, and they'll all congregate along the end boards in the Leaf zone as first Kessel came close, and he's still looking for a penalty. You see him waving in frustration, and then Calgary attacks at the other end.
We'll get another look. Good play here. Once the puck is turned over, Van Riemsdyk gets the puck to the net. And you see Ramos, the puck is already past him. He pulls Kessel's feet out. If that's anywhere else on the ice, that's called a tripping penalty. And then in front of the Toronto net is Camilleri drives for the rebound. He can't quite get there before Bernier jumps on top of it.
Leafs have had the edge of the face-off circle, 37-32, as McClement prevails against young Sean Monahan. Joffrey Lupul out of the Leaf zone. He'll chip it past Weidman. Russell back to get it for Calgary. Flames trying to avoid their first regulation loss on home ice this season. Monahan with the shot that's off Franson and wide. Played behind the net and chopped around by Franson and out. Chris Russell's registered his 100th NHL point on Saturday, and he assists on the goal that's made it a one-goal game here. Back in Berchi, and that's off the logo and into the glove of Jonathan Bernier.
Joffrey Lupul and Dennis Weidman come together here in the middle of the ice. Lupul didn't like the attempted hip check from Weidman, and he went to him, and after he finished his check here, Lupul went to him and said, "Don't go that low, don't go after my knees." And the hip check can be a dangerous hit. Here's the attempted hip check. There, Weidman's not so low. He generally stays up high enough that it's hip on the opponent's hip. You have to be careful you don't get low. You get any lower and you got a chance to really hurt somebody.
From the scrum, the Leafs are able to get it out off the stick of David Clarkson. 3.5 to go. Colburn and Boland all tied up. This Boland's stick was caught in the skate blade of Colburn. They have got untangled, and the Flames start the breakout. A pass cut off by Gunnarsson and backhanded back into Calgary ice. Shots 2-1 in favor of the Flames, 42-21. But Toronto continues to lead by a goal. Gagliardi's in, and
we got a
penalty.
Yeah, David Clarkson boarding penalty on Chris Butler.
Play was stopped at an offside. That's why it wasn't allowed to continue.
2 minutes for boarding.
But a boarding call gives Calgary another power play chance for the equalizer.
Clarkson tries to get right to the side of him, but the official deems that he hits him more from the back than the side, so it's a boarding penalty.
I know the guys said the Carter Ashton one would be on a league tape. That was a little less flagrant, but Clarkson in the box.
And we'll see if Calgary gets the goalie out at any point here, or if they'll just run this power play down to the last 30 seconds, 5-on-4, and see if they can get something done there. I would keep the goalie in the net, Chris, because I wouldn't want to give up a 180-foot empty netter.
Here comes Hudler over the line. Camilleri will drop. Russell sends it in, and a one-touch pass by Hudler doesn't work. It'll be held in by Russell. Leafs don't clear it. See if Calgary makes them pay. Russell and Weidman. Yuri Hudler. Cross-ice pass. McClement got a stick on it. Still loose in front. Hudler back on it. Tied up by McClement. Phaneuf gets it loose and sends it down.
And there's exactly why you keep the goalie in the net. Phaneuf's shot would have ended this game.
Reminder to Canuck fans, game has begun on TSN2, and we'll be joining that game as soon as ours is done. Camilleri over the line, and Weidman checked as he tried to barge in. Paul Ranger turns Calgary back. Under 2 left in the third period and 50 seconds remaining in the boarding penalty to David Clarkson. It'll be Colburn trying this left side against Franson. Tries the back pass. It does get to Russell, and now Ramo out of the net for the extra attacker. Hudler back out. Yuri Hudler, and that pass knocked down by Bolin. Held in by Weidman. And Hudler knocked off the puck, and it's Ranger with an open net. Paul Ranger scores! The Leafs have a second shorthanded goal and a 2-goal lead.
Paul Ranger's been under a lot of heat of late for the Maple Leafs, and last night as they stretched out their lead, he played his highest minutes total of the season. Here he shoves Yuri Hudler down. As Hudler's trying to control the puck, he gets past him and rifles it into the empty net.
First goal as a Leaf, his first goal in the NHL since 2009.
Bob Hartley's going to use his timeout here.
And the Leafs en route to winning another game on the strength of special teams and goaltending. This will be the 5th time this year that the Leafs have been the better special team than their opponents, and they're 5-0 in those games if this score holds tonight.
3rd in the league offensively at over 3 goals a game. 6th in the league defensively at just over 2 goals a game. The Leafs are pretty darn close to their average right now here with a 2-goal lead with 82 seconds left.
See David Clarkson continuing to debate his call that is not as critical as it might have been. 23 seconds remaining. Still time for Calgary to get within 1 on the power play again, but that shorthanded goal by Van Riemsdyk, the dying seconds of the first period, huge, and with the net empty, 1 for Paul Ranger. Unassisted goal for Ranger. Gunnarsson off the boards, and this one into the Leaf bench.
Got to be some disappointment here for the Flames as they've played hard. They've fired 42 shots at Jonathan Bernier, and Curtis Glencross said to me a few minutes ago here at a break that, man, Bernier plays like this against us all the time. Of course, Bernier played a little bit for the Los Angeles Kings, and showing why the Leafs acquired him in the offseason. He's given them a nice 1-2 punch, and both he and Reimer make the goaltending calls more difficult all the time for Randy Carlyle.
Matches a career high in shots faced by Bernier, 42 so far. And Calgary not done yet. Clement and Bolin able to get it up. Net still empty, and Bolin sends it wide of the net. And this time it's an icing call as Clarkson is out of the box. 54.9 seconds on the clock. And a reminder, Detroit and Vancouver are underway on the West Coast. Game on TSN2, and we'll be going right there as soon as this one is done. Camilleri on the draw with Bolin. Clarkson steps in. Board battle, David Clarkson. That play by Clarkson to set up Raymond here earlier in the third period. Looming large. Camilleri tries to center, knocked down by Phaneuf. Wraps it around, and it will guess past Russell and out. Quick lead up, and that off a stick. Was it Camilleri or Phaneuf? It will be a face-off outside the Toronto line.
The Leafs will get into Vancouver and have a day and a bit to rest before the 4 o'clock local start on Saturday. The Flames will break out their new jerseys against the Red Wings on Friday.
Off the boards, Kadri took a whack at that empty net. Now Lupul onto it. And Randy Carlyle without Phil Kessel on the ice to attempt to extend his goal streak. With the net empty, here's Monahan, a shot on as the clock ticks down. And the Toronto Maple Leafs will win back-to-back in Alberta. And have their 10th win of the year on the strength of a brilliant goaltending performance by Jonathan Bernier. Most shots he has faced in the game, 43. He turns 41 away as the Leafs prevail 4-2. So long from Calgary. Here's James Duthie.